ready for an unforgettable experience. Get ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's get hype.
Chip. What's going on, Dallas Cowboys universe, Cowboys Nation? Welcome to another episode of Late Night Hype. Big Game James, Skywalker Still, Low Nation, the voice, and a special guest, Tiny Jim. I told you we're going to keep that. We're keeping that. Dave Helman in the building, y'all. What's going on, Dave?
What's up, y'all? Good to be back. It's football season. I feel like the last time I talked to y'all, it was dead, and that is not the case. That is not the case anymore.
Not the case anymore at all, brother. And honestly, it didn't really. Now it feels like football season because we got to win. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like last week, I was depressed. I hated it. But this week, we got a crazy victory, and I'm gonna say this: I was feeling like your hair was feeling when you came on to this thing.
Out of control.
Out of control.
Wolverine, the short Wolverine.
Oh man, what's going on, though, everybody?
Chilling, man. Good to, like you said, it's football in the air. It's better that we got a victory because maybe Dave, maybe you're not on the show right now if we ain't win.
Honestly, that's a pretty good point. Everybody's in a better mood when you get a win. Whether that's like obviously the players and the coaches, but if I've spent the last 48 hours like writing and talking about that terrible loss and y'all asked, I'd be like, come on, man, I can't do that. I can't do that tonight.
Listen, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be straight up real with you. It would have been a very bitter show tonight if we would have lost.
Right.
Very bitter, fam. But how's it been on DC.com, DallasCowboys.com with the shows? Is it because it's kind of a mixed emotion for me? I don't know about you guys. Yes, we won, but my goodness, there was a lot that we need to clean up, man. So how's it been though on the podcast over there?
I'll speak for myself. I don't want to speak for anybody else and you're not wrong. Okay. You're not wrong. They fumbled like 18 times. The defense busted a few coverages, the pass rush. And I'm sure we'll get into all that, but like after a game like that, I said this on Cowboys Break on Monday. That's like games like that are what make being a football fan fun. You know, it's like, You're gonna watch 16 games a year, but I mean they're all gonna have their interesting storylines, but that only happens once every like 5 or 6 years. You know what I mean?
Or never ever happened before. Dak Prescott's the first player in NFL history.
That's a great point. Yeah, and the Falcons are the first team to score 39 and not turn the ball over and lose. So yeah, I mean, if that's an even better point, man. Is if you get to witness history, just take it and be happy. And like we can talk about what they got to fix because they need to fix some stuff, but just be happy because
let's keep it real. Cowboys make history. Anytime we play somebody, we make some kind of history, whether it's bad history or good history, some kind of record gets set.
That's actually what I was going to say next is like the game that comes to mind for me. Like I know a lot of people bring up the Bills game in 2007 when Romo threw 5 picks and they won. I wasn't working yet. I didn't cover the team. So the game that comes to mind for me is 2013 against Denver when Romo threw for 500, but they lost the Broncos. And that's my point is you already played this bonkers ass game. You might as well win.
Might as well win it, yeah.
You might as well win. Like at least now you get to associate this crazy memory with a win instead of a loss. So that's
man. See, this is why I listen to you, man. You bring a different variation to the conversation. So I like it. That's actually a good point. We went through this on a bad end when it came to Tony Romo and the Broncos. So let's enjoy this with Dak Prescott in this team. Salute to you, brother. I give a round of applause.
Appreciate that.
But I would be remiss if we didn't start the show off with the bonkers game that Dak Prescott had. And I'm pretty sure that you got the treat with the All-22 that came out. You came out pretty damn early.
Oh, I'm happy.
And we got a chance to go check it out. I'm pretty sure you watched as well. Was the rewatch even better than the actual live viewing of it? Because I saw some throws. I was like, damn, I didn't even realize how great that throw was live because I was still pissy, getting mad at the game. But, man, he played phenomenally.
Oh, my God. Yeah, he played out of his mind. I think it's one of the – I would say it's one of the 3 best games of his career. And, yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, you get such a better appreciation for what happened when you watch it again. I mean, the throw that he made to Blake Bell where he breaks out of the pocket and scrambles forward and finds Blake Bell on the sideline. How about the fact that when he hit Amari Cooper for the one-handed throw, he got absolutely blasted.
Annihilated.
He got destroyed.
Yes.
So just little nuances like that make it even sweeter. But, I mean, man, he put it all on the table, man. And I'm so pumped. I've said this a half dozen times this week already, so I'm sorry. But I keep saying this is who Dak was for his whole career. And then he didn't have it last year. Like, they didn't win these games last year. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, sometimes it was his fault, sometimes it wasn't. But they always came up short in these close games last year. And for him to get it done in week 2, right off the bat, like the very beginning of the season, for him to get that under his belt, that's got to be a big confidence boost for him and everybody else on the offense.
Show,
yeah,
man.
Definitely. I was saying even week 1, big dog, that he got we know about the controversial pass interference, but look at the end of the game, even against the Rams. It was 3rd and 10. It was 22 seconds left in the game. He had one of the best cornerbacks on one-on-one coverage, and he threw an absolute rope that could have game time field goal, could have won the game because it was still 16 seconds left in the game. So you really look at, he could have had 2 game-winning back-to-back winning drives to start his season. And like you said, that's a good thing because everybody was like, oh, Dak this, Dak that. He ain't worth it. So right there, shut up everybody right now and let's play some damn football now.
I like it, James. I like it, man. Hey, there was another guy who I have a thing called the Skywalker standouts. And one of my Skywalker standouts from the game was none other than the electrifying rookie, CeeDee Lamb. And somebody had said something to me earlier. They were on Twitter. They were like, "Yo, did it feel like CeeDee Lamb's game was quiet? Not in a negative way, but in the sense of if that game felt quiet to him, imagine what his breakout game is going to look like."
That's a really phenomenal point, to be honest with you. Because, yeah, I mean, it was kind of quiet. I mean, he had the really amazing catch, really more of a catch and run that set up the game-winning field goal. So, I mean, that's a memorable play, but very workmanlike. You know, he catches a very nice post from Dak. He has the out route where he got absolutely popped again on the catch, which kudos to him for hanging on. So, I would agree. I mean, I think his final line was 6 for 106, and it didn't necessarily feel like that. That's not a knock on him, but yeah, I mean, when he really and truly has his like breakout game, when he gets in the end zone, I mean, if this is what he's doing on a quiet day, he's delivering, man. His first 2 weeks, you look around at what some of the other rookie receivers are doing, he's right where we thought he would be. He's living up to the hype, in my opinion.
So who's on pace for having rookie of the year? Although it's 2 weeks into it, do you guys see anybody else rookie standing out like CeeDee?
I'm biased because I haven't seen anything.
I cover the Cowboys, so I'm having to think. I mean, hey, you can call me a homer if you want to, and I am, so that's fair. But
what? No.
Joe Burrow looks pretty damn impressive in Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
Burrow looks pretty damn impressive up in Cincinnati.
Nope, you are LSU homer.
Yeah, quarterback.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. Sorry, I gotta specify my homer tendencies. I'm trying to. I feel like there's gotta be at least one other rookie that's balling out. I know there is, but I can't.
I saw some big plays from Chase Claypool, but I don't know whether or not.
Claypool.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb's the only rookie wide receiver with a 100-yard game in the first 2 weeks. So 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Boom.
You know, there's really no rookie wide receiver snapping just quite yet. But, you know, CeeDee is a part of a wide receiving group that I think is starting off the season hot out the gates, man. You got Michael Gallup, who had, you know, a ridiculous catch last week and really had a phenomenal game in week 1, but a couple plays got taken away from him. Amari Cooper just yeoman, like just quietly have 10 receptions first game and then 100 yards the second game, and then obviously CeeDee Lamb. Are we seeing this true form of this special wide receiving group that we thought it would be? We're starting to see it.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, if the Cowboys convert third downs a little bit better against the Rams, then I think that's probably like the talk of this entire season so far. I mean, if Dak throws a little bit better of a ball to CD on that 4th and 3 against the Rams, honestly, if that ball is a little bit out in front of CD, like, it's not crazy to think that he scores.
Breaks the tackles, yeah.
And so what are we talking about now? Like, CD catches 6 balls for 68 yards and a touchdown, follows that up with a 100-yard game, and then everything that we've seen from Coop and Gallup. I mean, I said this on Twitter today. CD and Coop both hit 100 yards in week 2, and oh, by the way, Michael Gallup made the best catch of the entire night. So
Sheets.
They're as advertised, in my opinion, man. They look great, and that's, I mean, they can be better. You know, Coop had a drop or 2 in week 1, and, like, you know, Lamb could have run his route a little bit better on that 4th down. But through 2 weeks, I don't have a whole lot of complaints.
Let me ask you this: did you know that Noah Brown can run that fast?
Bro,
Right.
Listen,
I'm cheat on that fight.
Okay, first of all, like, I've always been a Noah Brown fan. You know, I liked the pick when they drafted him. I thought he did the best that he could with what they asked him to do. He's a nice guy just from being around him in the locker room. But when I tell you, when he caught that ball,
Right.
I thought it was CD.
CD, exactly. You seen them dreads? It was like, that's CD.
I saw the 8 and the dreads, and I was like, there goes CeeDee Lamb. And then he got up, and then I saw the 5, and I was like, no way, that can't be true.
Exactly. We used to him blocking all the time. What?
Listen, let me tell you, when he caught that ball and he took off like that at the end of the play, I said, damn, do we have to get him the ball more? I mean, he looked that good. Like, you got to get him to rock. He got me questioning my love for Cedric Wilson. I'm a Cedric Wilson fan, but if he looking like that,
I'm really, and we deserve it. Like, we in the media, you know, we hype people up at training camp, and everybody gets on us because half the time it doesn't turn out, you know, it doesn't pan out. But Noah Brown had a great camp, and he's carrying it over to the season. He played like a badass on Sunday. On top of the catch and run. He had another really great catch where he got
smacked.
He got destroyed.
And it was a big catch because the next play, I believe that's where Schultz got his touchdown, because he caught that pass over the middle. So that was a critical play. But just like y'all said, and I think me and Scott was talking about it, how we was like, man, come on, dog. Why is Noah Brown still on the team? We keep talking about Noah Brown every year. I'm tired of hearing about him. But then when we was watching him in camp, Jill, they did a picture where he was up like this, and I said, CD, and they was like, dog, that's Noah Brown. And I'm like, oops, I had to edit right quick. Like, but Eddie, I was like, he looking good, though.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not the GM, because I'd have got rid of Noah, and I would have got rid of Schultz. And both of those guys are showing us some stuff, man.
Listen, here's the thing on Schultz, David.
That's your man's law.
Tell me if I'm wrong on this one.
He's my guy now.
First of all, I'll say this about Dalton Schultz. I will give you a round of applause for stepping back up this week, because you had an atrocious game last week. Let's just keep it real. You had a bad game. But I seen some stuff on Twitter today that said about, you know, Dalton Schultz being that dude, basically. I'm paraphrasing. But when I went back and watched the All-22, it kind of matched what my eyes saw during the game. He just worked underneath. He did it very well, but he wasn't like Blake Jarwin in 2 ways. Blake Jarwin's not a passer. He's not a blocker. We know he's not a blocker. But Dalton Schultz is a good blocker. But is this the Dalton Schultz we're going to see all year, or is Dalton Schultz the Dalton Schultz we saw in week 1, or should we got to wait?
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the beauty of it, is like, you don't have to decide, you know, you don't have to be the hot take guy. Like, you don't have to make up your mind right now. I think you're absolutely right. In my opinion, I think Dalton Schultz was not ready to be thrust into the situation that he wound up in week 1. Or if he was, he didn't show it, obviously. You know, the drops, the penalties. And he, you know, the start of Sunday was rough too, but man, he really rose to the occasion. And it's like, I'm not ready to crown him as tight end not ready to crown him tight end 1, but I'm not on the phone with Delaney Walker today. You know, I'm like, I feel all right. I feel all right about what we've got. So I'm gonna let Dalton Schultz play this out, and if he can show consistency, I'm totally fine with that. And I think you're right. I don't think Dalton Schultz is quite as crazy athletic as Blake Jarwin was. So maybe he's not going to attack the seam downfield the same way that we might have seen from Blake. But if he can do what he did on Sunday, be the underneath guy, be an outlet guy, the touchdown catch was beautiful. I mean, it was an amazing throw from Dak and a great catch by Schultz. Like, if he can give me that on a consistent basis, I'm A-okay with that, especially when you consider, the talent at all the other positions on the offense.
That's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like they're going to use him underneath. I thought he worked the zone very well against Atlanta. He found the soft spots, turned around, caught the ball, and Law was making a joke. He looked like Jason Witten on that one all slow. I said, no, he got better wheels than Jason Witten. He get a little bit faster than Jason Witten.
Hey, the catch that he had, Dak got the roughing the passer when Dak had to go out of the game.
Yeah.
That was some really impressive yak on Dalton Schultz's part. I thought he scored.
I did too.
I was really impressed by his athleticism to not just get up the field, but get hit and try to carry himself into the end zone. I was very impressed by that play.
And also give shout outs to Blake Bell. I thought Blake Bell, in his little short time, he did well with his blocking. He had a huge catch on that 3rd and 4 where the Cowboys needed that drive where Dak was running out the pocket and he hit Bell and he hit him on the sidelines. That was a big catch by Bell. So I'm liking Bell too. We're not hearing about him, but I like his little sneaky catches. I like how he blocks on the field. So I like that acquisition of Blake Bell. But me personally, big dog, I'm still calling Delaney Walker.
All right. You don't even want to give these guys a shot.
I'm getting called Delaney. And Schultz, you just do your little underneath, but I'm going with some Delaney.
What about this, James? What about this, Dave and Law? If we do got CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup, right, as our 3 wide receivers. So when you lose a Blake Jarwin, who is a seam stretcher, right? Is it really a huge loss if you can send CD up there and then work? Because CD or Blake or CD or Cooper or Michael, they're going to clear that middle out. So if you could just have a tight end that could be reliable underneath. Now, and I saw Dalton Schultz be reliable, and that was encouraging. So if you have a tight end that's reliable, is that all you really need in this offense with all these explosive weapons?
9 catches on 10 targets. That's what Dalton Schultz did on Sunday. So, yeah, I mean, it's great for fantasy, but again, for me with Schultz, it's consistency for me. Like, are you making the play time after time? So catching 9 balls on 10 targets is a pretty great sign. Yeah. I want to see it again. Like, I can't just assume he's going to be the starter going forward because of that. But
just hold on to the ball.
Yeah, that too. That absolutely. But I agree with you in theory that if the receivers are doing their thing and Zeke is doing his thing, maybe you mix Tony Pollard in a little bit. You shouldn't need an all-world tight end in that circumstance.
Yeah. For sure. We need some more Tony Pollard for sure, man. I mean, it's like I know it's hard. It's not enough balls to go around, but I need to see just a little bit of more TP.
Can I be real?
Be real.
Keep it real.
I love, I drive the Tony Pollard bandwagon. Based on what we saw from him, and granted it wasn't a lot, but he not the best day of his career.
I'm with Sunday. You on this one, Dave.
He was, which I mean, I know it's special teams, but please don't take the ball out 8 yards deep in the end zone, please.
But I think he's trying to. But you know what I also think he's trying to do? He's pressing, just like
he's definitely pressing.
He's pressing because he wants to get in this game. He wants to show something. So he's like, man, this is my only opportunity to get the ball. I got to try to do something.
I get it, but you got to fight against those instincts.
I feel you. You got to get in there, though.
Yeah, I mean, no, he's talented enough that he needs to have a role, but just don't do too much.
I love me some TP, but I talked about this on Twitter. I just feel like Sunday was a Zeke game. He set the tone with his physicality. We needed him in pass pro in the second half. If you look at Zeke's stat line, it wasn't crazy, but if you go watch the runs, oh my goodness, man. He was lowering the boom. He
broke old boy's back.
Broke a couple people's everything.
Back and sternum. Broke my back.
Spinal. And I just felt like this was a Zeke game. And there's going to be times, and I I am at the lead of that TP fan club. Trust me, Dave. I love Tony Pollard's play. I think he could be really special for this team. But there are going to be games where Zeke has to be your guy. And I felt like yesterday was. It was a physical game. 40-39 might not seem like physical, but that was a physical game.
I just remember, you're in the second half, you're down by multiple possessions, and they were still trying to pound the ball, and it was driving me crazy, but it seemed like every other time they did it, Zeke was carrying 3 or 4 guys 5 or 6 yards further than he was supposed to. So I'm like, I think you should be throwing it, but it's hard for me to argue against what this guy's doing. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, you talk about the play call in there. I have to give kudos to Kellen Moore. I called Kellen Moore out in week 1. I said, damn, Kellen, what happened to the pre-snap motion? What happened to getting people involved in the creativity and stuff? And he must have heard everybody in Cowboys Nation because we all was calling for it. And I thought he may not have been flawless, but damn it, Kellen Moore was really damn good in that game. Did anybody find themselves saying, what the hell kind of play call was that every other play? No. I thought Kellen Moore was dialing it up. And when you go watch the All-22, he actually schemed some people open. I'm really hoping this is the Kellen Moore we saw. I don't know if you are encouraged by what you saw in Kellen, Dave, but I was.
Oh, I absolutely, and I know they didn't do as much pre-snap motion, and it wasn't as new and exciting as we were probably all hoping for. But I said after the loss to the Rams, I was like, the offense is going to be fine, y'all. Like I think they put up like 380 yards, I think, against the Rams. And I know they only scored 17 points, but again, third down is a big part of that. That comes with repetition. I thought they looked pretty good against the Rams. Not great, but pretty good. And then obviously Atlanta's defense is nothing to feel special about. So I wasn't nervous about it. And yeah, I mean, I guess they redeemed that because they looked awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, go ahead, James.
I was just going to ask a quick question while we're talking about the offense. I want to talk about this line play because Dallas had 600 yards of offense with 2 undrafted free agents on the right and left tackles, and then you have, to me, Joe Looney. I'm not hating, but I still feel like he's a backup center. You know what I'm saying? He got handled a little bit sometimes, but the line is not what it used to be. Okay. So then you had the situation with Ron Leary. It didn't happen. The kid, retired Vander, I can't remember his last name. Belvedere, he retired with, not going with the contract. Me personally, Dave, I'm cool with Ron Leary not being there. I want to see Connor McGovern. I want to see him win this. But my question to you is twofold. What's up with Steele? Why is Brandon Knight not starting there like with week 1, and why was still there? And part 2 is what's going on with Connor McGovern where they're bringing in a Ron Leary? What do they feel about Connor McGovern that they're bringing in a Leary at guard?
I have a few thoughts about this, actually. First of all, nobody was more shocked than me when the lineups came out on Sunday for week 1, and it was Terrence Steele.
Right.
I was like, are y'all serious? But hey, wait, real quick.
I feel you. I ain't hating on him either.
I don't want to hate on Terrence Steele because all things considered,
my cousin now.
He's played really, really well through 2 weeks. For an undrafted rookie that's been put in this situation, he deserves a lot of credit. But based on what I saw at training camp, I was just like, I don't know about this, guys. Which I've been a big fan of Brandon Knight going back to last year because I thought he played great in a similar situation. So it was kind of vindicating for me to see him play so well at left tackle because I was like, okay, I'm not crazy.
Right.
Like he's a pretty good player. I don't know what they're going to do going forward. If we assume Tyron plays against the Seahawks, which I don't know.
He ain't playing.
I wouldn't be surprised either way, to be honest with you. But if we assume he plays, I don't know what you do at that right spot because Brandon Knight, I think, is better.
Yes.
But yes. It seems like they see Steele as more of a natural fit on the right side. Which
I wonder why.
I'm wondering if it's what was the word that Broadus used, guys? A sponsorship. I feel like maybe Terrence Steele has a sponsor. because we saw that Brandon Knight's sponsor was Mark Colombo, and he's no longer on this team. And I just don't understand, how you can watch Brandon Knight's tape last year and come away with that Terrence Steele, an undrafted free agent rookie, is better. Now, I will say this, because I'm getting on my third cousin here. He's not really my cousin, but we got the same last name. I've been getting on Terrence Steele the first 2 games, and I think rightfully so. I know a lot of Cowboys fans is giving him the sympathy. Yeah, he did okay for an undrafted free agent. I mean, I guess, but he gets whooped. He literally gets whooped.
We lucky Takk McKinley got hurt.
He lucky. Very lucky Takk McKinley got hurt because he was dogging him every single rep.
Killed.
And
that's a decent point. That's a really good point, actually. Yeah.
And I went and watched Brandon Knight, and I gave him a B on the day. I thought Brandon Knight played very well. He struggled most with the bull rushes, but for the most part, man, he maybe got beat once or twice really bad on the day, where Terrence Steele probably got beat once or twice on the first possession of the game. So it was like, I'm hoping Brandon Knight's the guy.
It's interesting, and coach, you're right. I mean, the sponsorship thing is so fair, and coaches have their guys that they believe in and they trust and they like for one reason or another. But when you start playing games and you have tape to watch, the equation changes a little bit, where, the head coach can look at it, the owners and general managers can come into the staff meetings on Monday and be like, wait, this guy on the left side's playing a lot better than the other guy. So it'll be interesting to see how that changes. As for Connor McGovern, I think it's a really good question. And I don't know this for sure, but it does make you wonder, like when a guy like Connor McGovern, who's drafted in the top 100, I know he was hurt all last year. I get that, but he comes in, he's healthy this year. He goes through training camp, and for him to be as much of an afterthought as he is, I mean, for the record, I never thought he would beat Connor Williams or Joe Looney. I never thought that would happen.
Just wanted it to happen.
I know a lot of people wanted it to happen, but it's a lot harder than people want to believe for a rookie to come in and win a starting job, especially with everything going on with COVID. So I never thought that was going to happen, but your eyebrow does start to raise when he's a healthy and active week 1. And then week 2, you got all these injuries. Your right tackle's on IR, your left tackle's not playing. You're talking about moving Connor Williams to tackle. You're talking to Ron Leary, and nobody mentions Connor McGovern. Nobody
ever.
And so I don't know this for sure, but it is worth pointing out. You mentioned the sponsorship thing with Mark Colombo. Keep in mind, all the coaches that helped bring Connor McGovern to the Cowboys are gone. They're not
I didn't
here.
even think about that. Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking about Brandon Knight and Terrence Steele, but yeah, it's literally the same exact thing with Connor McGovern.
They're all, I know, Will McClay and all of his guys scouted Connor, but Mark Colombo loved Connor McGovern. Mark Colombo was he's the guy that called him. None of those guys are here. And so I don't know this for sure, but it's possible to think Joe Philbin is just I don't think he works well for what I'm asking of my line. I don't think that I'm not sold. And if that's true, it's a bummer, because they spent a 3rd-round pick on the guy. But right now, it just doesn't look like he's really a factor in what they're trying to do.
Listen to this stat here I thought about the other day. With their tackle 4 and 5, because we have to remember, Cam Irvin, for whatever reason, that's a whole nother subject, was their swing tackle. And he's gone. La'el Collins was gone. Tyron Smith was going. They were down to their tackle 4 and 5. I don't know if that happens in the league often, but they were down to their tackles 4 and 5. They possessed the ball for 26 minutes, scored 40 points, and had almost 600 yards. We talked about it at the top of the show. This literally was a once-in-a-lifetime game. Elias Sports, go find me a game where that has happened. A team scored 40 points in 26 minutes and had 600 yards of offense with their backup tackles. I don't think
You're
it's
not wrong.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah,
Now, we can be very happy about what we saw on the offensive side of the ball, and we were. But boy, oh boy, on that other side, there's been some question marks going on, and some of those question marks got some of the defensive players and their feelings, and they got on Twitter and things like that happen. Hey, Dave, we must protect you at all costs. Please don't get in your crosshairs, okay?
We got you.
Hey.
Don't get it. And shout out to our guy Jeff, because we have Jeff on here as well. I thought he handled that very well.
He did. Jeff did a great job.
Amazing job.
Yeah,
that's a situation that you can't really win. So he did all right.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, you guys can go on there. I'm not going to dive into that too often. The reason why I brought it up is because it was warranted in the fact that the defensive criticism is kind of warranted. I don't think anyone is giving up on the defense just quite yet, Dave. But I don't really know how can I put this. How excited you can be about what you've seen in the first 2 weeks. I could be wrong. Maybe you are excited. But is it right to question the defense right now?
Absolutely. It's always right to question a unit when you see some of the things we saw on Sunday. I mean, the pass rush was not there. The secondary, which I defend DBs a lot because I know how it's so ridiculously hard, and I think a lot of people don't give them proper credit. But at the same time, they had so many busts. Not just you get beat on a good play like bust, like the Hayden Hurst touchdown. That just you can't let that happen.
That was a hell of a play too.
It was. It was a great design. It was a great design by the Falcons. But anytime the guy that catches the touchdown pass is all alone by a solid 15 yards, something went horribly wrong.
Yeah. Switch off. Yeah, somebody's supposed to switch off and they didn't.
So
yeah.
I want to, and going back to the Rams game, they didn't handle misdirection very well. They didn't handle screens very well. They didn't tackle very well. So it's fair to question them. And I guess where I fall on it is, it's basically, you're basically making an excuse for them. So let me talk out of both sides of my mouth really quick.
What?
And actually, Everson Griffin on Twitter on Tuesday kind of touched on some of this. He was like, it's week 2 without a real training camp. We didn't get to tackle. We didn't get to play in any of these, we didn't get any preseason games. Everson Griffin signed the day before camp started, so he was really only practicing for the last 4 or 5 days of practice. So you think about stuff like that. You think about, Griffin is new. Dontari Poe is new. Alden Smith is new.
The scheme is new.
The scheme is new. Exactly. And so it makes sense to think that it's going to take a while for all of this to get, to gel together and be cohesive. I absolutely believe Everson Griffin that this defense and the pass rush specifically is probably going to look a lot better in week 10 than it does in week 2. But now here's where I'll contradict myself and say, guess what? Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. And, that's why you make $800,000 a week to play the game. It is what it is. And the difference between getting to the quarterback and not getting to the quarterback can be a win and a loss, that's the nature of the NFL. So I understand that they're in a hard spot, and I understand that they're going to improve as the season goes, but you can't let it cost you games. And I will say the defense, I know they gave up 39 points, but the defense for me wasn't the problem. Don't put the ball in the rug 3 times in the first quarter. Don't do that.
4 or
Actually, 5 times if you count the ones that they got back. Yeah. So, and that's the funny thing is I think half the Falcons scoring drives started from within the Dallas 35. So when you factor that in, I thought they did okay with what they were given to work with, to be totally honest with you.
Much better in the second half. They only scored 10 points. So, that is something that you could be encouraged about. Excited, I don't know, but encouraged, yes, because they only scored 10.
We're definitely not excited, but we are encouraged that, okay, Everson Griffin's been in the league for 10 years. Alden Smith is a veteran. Demarcus Lawrence is a veteran. Poe is a veteran. I think these guys, it's like dipping your foot in the water. It'll get better as you go and as these guys get their feet underneath them. And I'm also encouraged that the secondary seem confident in coverage, if that makes sense. Trevon Diggs, he's given up some plays. He's also been in position to get some interceptions.
Gotta finish.
He does. He absolutely does. But he's been step for step with his coverage. Cheeto has missed on a couple plays by a fraction. He got an interception in week 1. I think Xavier Woods has had a really
he's played really
start.
good.
Yeah.
He had a good game. He had a real good game.
He's tackling really well. So like, there's things there to be encouraged about, but the final result is definitely not exciting.
Let me be devil's advocate while y'all talking all that good PC stuff, man. So what about if he did good? So what about if Jamal Adams was on his team? How you think this team would have looked? Or Earl Thomas,
Melvin?
dare I say?
Melvin?
How would this team would look? Where do you stand on that?
Hey,
Now, I know
James.
you like Jamal Adams though. LSU. But go ahead, give me the stuff.
Let me just throw this out there. I saw this. My good friend John Machota, who covers the Cowboys for The Athletic, tweeted this out today. The Seahawks have allowed 47 plays of 10 yards or more so far this season. So Jamal Adams is a badass, but he might not be a cure-all, especially
have
when
no pass rush.
Seriously, the Seahawks have an even worse pass rush than the Cowboys do by a long shot.
And Irvin tore his ACL.
Don't get me wrong. Jamal Adams would make this defense better. Earl Thomas probably would too. At least on the field. But I don't know that either one of them is going to make up for some of the other deficiencies that we're seeing too. Although I keep saying this, the Cowboys don't want to sign Earl Thomas, and I don't think they're going to. But let them keep struggling, and we'll see what happens, because nobody thought they would have ever traded for Amari Cooper in September of 2018 either. So teams have a really funny habit of changing their mind as they get to look at more tape.
But listen, man, I talked this damn defense up in regards to getting turnovers all off season, and I'm not afraid to admit when I'm. And I think I've been wrong on these interceptions. I'm starting to think, like James like to say, we just got dang cursed, because I don't know how else to explain how you drop that easy interception in week 1, Trevon Diggs, no offense to you, but when I seen you snag these things like a receiver in college, Daryl Worley, hey D-Dub, I love you, dog, but you got to catch that, man.
Valid ball with the football.
I think Trevon Diggs, another one, receiver type catch in the end zone, got to catch it. What the hell? Are we allergic? We can't blame this. We can't blame this on Chris Richard now, y'all. We can't do it.
One thing I will say off of that is that Cheeto, he should have had that interception.
Cheeto as well.
Oh my goodness, he turned his head around to the ball and everything, and it was right there for the plucking. But he still, I believe, like you said,
let's be encouraged, y'all. I know I said I'm gonna be encouraged right now, but I will say this. With Diggs, I feel like, where you're talking about, Dave, how you feel like the secondary feels a little more confident. I feel like Diggs is bringing that confidence. I know he dropped a couple interceptions, and we want that. But I feel like if you watch Diggs against Julio, he was very physical at the line of scrimmage with Julio. He was very physical at finishing his tackles, and I feel like those other guys are feeding off Diggs. Diggs is giving this confidence, and I feel like we keep putting Diggs on these top receivers, it's going to keep making that whole secondary play better. I think Diggs is going to be that alpha dog.
So here's an analogy for you. Like, my guy Joe Burrow is a perfect example. The Bengals know that they're not going to win the Super Bowl this year, obviously, but you got to throw Joe Burrow in there and get him some experience. And you say, we take the good with the bad, and it's going to make Joe Burrow a better player in the years to come when we are ready to contend. The Dallas Cowboys are probably not going to have a good secondary at any time this season, or at least not a top tier secondary. I just don't think they are. Like, we know what most of these guys are, and they're fine, but they're, it ain't the Legion of Boom. Would you all agree with me there?
Right.
Agree.
Yeah.
Right.
But you throw Trevon Diggs out there from week 1 and just let him play and let him grow, and it's going to pay dividends for you in the long run, because I'm so encouraged by what I've seen from him in 2 weeks. He's step for step. He's there. He looks confident. He looks like he belongs. He's getting his hands on footballs. He's not finishing the plays. And that That's not ideal, but it will come if he continues to do it. And so I never thought this secondary was going to be top tier in 2020. But when you start to rebuild it next year, and we'll see what they do, Anthony Brown's under contract, but they got to figure out what to do with Xavier, Cheeto, and Jordan Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're going to remake this whole thing next year. And you better believe Trevon Diggs is going to be like the foundation of it in 2021. So get him as much experience as you can so he's ready for it when the time comes. And in the meantime, just make do with what you can. Like, I don't think we're ever going to feel like amazing about the secondary this season, but hopefully it'll pay dividends.
I think we all came into the season saying, hey, we know the secondary is not going to be an elite secondary, top secondary. We're hoping that it's average to above average, but here's the reason why I think we felt okay if it was average or above average, because we thought our pass rush would be a top-tier pass rush.
Right.
So I've been saying the last few days that, guys, listen, we can love Trevon Diggs, we can love Cheeto or whomever, but let's just be real. Keep it real. KIR, Jess. Keep it real. The secondary is not top-notch. They won't be top-notch, so they need help from the pass rush. And the guy that's getting called out this week and over the last 2 weeks, if you want to say rightfully so or not, is Demarcus Lawrence. And you're down there in Dallas, so you have the inside scoop on this injury thing. What's going on? Is this something serious we need to be concerned about? Because he didn't play that many snaps on Sunday. The snaps he did play, he wasn't horrible, but we would like to see more from D-Law. I mean, let's just keep it real.
Yeah, it was a pretty consistent when he was still in the game, and so he tweaked his knee. They went and took a look at him, and he was on the sideline for the vast majority of the second half. He looked a lot like what we've seen over the last year, which is really solid against the run, nowhere near as consistent or dominant as you would want as a pass rusher. And obviously, for the money that he's making, that's not going to be good enough. One thing that I've learned very quickly about Mike McCarthy is he does not want to talk about injuries. He basically shut it down on Monday. But Jerry Jones did turn around. And if you want to talk about keep it real, Jerry Jones will keep it real.
Yeah, too dang much. His coach is trying to keep things close to the vest.
So
not to be trite.
Jerry, not to be trite. Jerry Jones basically said this morning, he was like, yeah, like he's dealing with some stuff, like some nicks and knocks, but he's fine. Jerry Jones basically said he's okay. So I'm sure he's not 100% healthy, but based on what Jerry says, and we'll see as the week goes, but I would expect him to be out there on Sunday. And yeah, I mean, no, the pass rush has not been remotely good enough, especially compared to what we thought we were seeing at training camp. And you can call it an excuse, you can call it whatever you want, but if I'm a Cowboy fan, my hope is, like I said, these are veteran players that have been through the wars. They know what it takes to get acclimated to the NFL. So I'm holding out hope that as they get more reps and more snaps, they feel more comfortable and can be more cohesive. I don't know if that's going to happen on Sunday because there is not a worse quarterback for a pass rush to be going against than Russ. But, here over the next, as hopefully they can round into form over the next 3 or so weeks.
That's what I'm holding out on, Law and James, is that time. We talked about it in the offseason. I always thought that the defense would take more time to come together than the offense needed to, because the offense is bringing back everybody except CeeDee Lamb. And it's not like it's going to take him a long time to get acclimated into an offense where he's the third wide receiver. But really, he's probably number one. But so
don't say that again.
Don't tell nobody. So it's not like CeeDee Lamb was going to make things difficult for you. Whereas you're getting so many new players. McCoy, who got hurt, Poe, Aldon Smith ain't playing 5 years, Everson Griffin, the rookies, just all these new players and new coaches. So we figured it'd take time. But the fan in me, and like you said, I don't give a damn, dog. I need more than 2 sacks. Where's these 2 sacks? 2 sacks.
2 sacks from 2 sacks from two guys that even played with the team last year.
Dave, and I know sacks ain't everything, right? But I swear I'm not lying to y'all, dog. Matt Ryan he was back there comfortable. He was comfy, cozy.
The number of times that Matt Ryan was able to basically check out of his reads and say like, all right, I guess I'll just go run and get some yards. It happened like 4 times. Yeah, I mean, if Matt Ryan's going to be able to do that, what's Russ going to do?
Exactly, especially up the middle.
That was Matt.
Well, let's go there. Let's just go right to it, Dave, because that was one of the things we were going to talk about.
Hey,
anyway.
Tristan Hill, though, Dave.
Oh, go ahead before we move on. Go ahead, James.
He looks.
That's my guy. That's my guy. That's my guy, and he's been looking good. Tristan Hill, how you feel about him?
Other than Aldon Smith, he seems like the brightest spot on the defensive line so far. He seems disruptive. I rewatched the defensive snaps today. He's getting into the backfield. I mean, he still gets pushed in the run game a little bit, but that's okay because I need him to rush the passer anyway. So I've been encouraged by what I've seen from him so far, for sure.
Speaking of encouragement, how do you feel about Antoine Woods in the middle of the field? How you feel about him and Crawford? How you think they doing?
You know, I don't think I have any like next level analysis between Dontari Poe, Crawford, and Woods. It seems like it's been fine. I mean, I know, you know,
it's meh, huh? Meh.
It's fine, but at the same time, it's like they're not getting bullied in the run game. Right. They're not the way that and you know, the Rams ran for 150. They only averaged 3.8, I think. And the Falcons had some success, but like it wasn't anything crazy. So I hesitate to get too worked up about it to this point.
I'm thinking just a theory here. There are new assignments now, right? They're not just one gappers getting upfield anymore. They got to occupy blocks. So we're not going to see. And Crawford, in my opinion, is not that kind of player, but that's what he's doing. And that's what Poe is. And Tristan Hill, like you said, I think he is looking the best out of them because there's those times where that explosiveness is just showing on tape. He's flashing more than the other two, and I think that's why we all believe he's kind of the best DT right now, playing the best right now. And before we move on, another player playing the best but may not be the best person at that position, Joe Thomas. I am really loving Joe Thomas right now, and I'm going to say it. He's the best linebacker right now until Jalen Smith comes back. When I say comes back, it get back to Jalen Smith because right now he's looking a little lost. He played better, but he's looking a little lost.
I thought Jalen was solid on Sunday.
I mean,
nobody's gonna try to sugarcoat Week 1. He was way off of his game against the Rams. I think that misdirection really messed him up. But you know, he had a nice play in coverage on Hayden Hurst on Sunday, and I thought he played well against the run. I thought he was fine, but I agree with you. Joe Thomas looked really impressive. You know, for as much as everybody was worried about not having Leighton and Sean, he's an aggressive player.
Oh my goodness.
He attacks the line.
He lays the boom.
Yeah, I was impressed with him.
I want to ask you something, Dave. I was saying this before you came in. You know, about Jalen Smith. It seems like when LVE is healthy, he plays better when LVE is like he plays better as a secondary player. It seems like when everybody puts everything on him, he doesn't play as good. When I seen Joe Thomas play this past Sunday, being aggressive everywhere and kind of take over the forefront, it seemed like Jalen plays better in that secondary role. It seems like when you got to put everything on him, that's when he struggles. Let me get your thoughts on that right quick before we switch.
Yeah, and I don't know that it's a coincidence that they flopped him and moved. You know, Leighton was the guy that was supposed to call the defenses and play in the middle, which is like the quarterback of the defense, the guy that gets everybody in position. I don't think that's a coincidence. I know Jalen can do it, but I think Leighton's better at doing it. Leighton was an all-pro as a rookie. Yeah, I mean, I've said a million times, like, I think Jalen is at his best when he's moving downhill toward the football.
Yep.
Like that's when he's I don't want him doing too much stuff in coverage. I don't want him to be out in space if I can avoid it. I know that's way easier said than done for a linebacker. And that's why, you know, and it's early, but I hope Mike Nolan has some stuff up his sleeve for more blitzing, maybe more stuff coming off the edge, because I need Jalen moving toward the line of scrimmage, trying to wreak havoc more so than reacting. Like he is not a good reactionary player. At least
that's a great point.
He hasn't been. So you know, I want to keep an eye on that and see, you know, if they have any wrinkles for how they want to use him.
I've seen Joe be the exact opposite, and at least in that Falcon game, he was reacting very freaking well.
Man, it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was. I loved watching that game.
Glorious.
His game. But let's move on real quick to Seattle, man. I know in DallasCowboys.com, you guys do you have days for the offense, for the defense, and you do picks, and that's how you guys do it throughout the week. We going to put it all together here, Dave.
Let's go.
Put it all together. We ain't gonna ask you to
Mix
be
it all up.
an hour on each topic or what have you, but just kind of give us your general thoughts around this Seattle game. And let's just start with that dude, man. That dude, Russell Wilson, and who he's going to be throwing to. And besides Russ, right? I feel like their weapons are comparable to what we just saw, right? I think DK is like a baby Julio. And I think that Tyler Lockett is you can say he's equivalent to a Calvin Ridley. And then their tight end, Hayden Hurst, really good tight end. Well, we're about to go up against Will Dissly and Greg Olsen, so we're going to have tight end issues as well. But the difference, Dave, is that man who I think, listen, I love me some Patrick Mahomes, but boy, Russ on his heels. He on his heels.
He always on his every year.
Probably be the best quarterback right now.
He's either 1 or 1A. Like
Yeah,
it's him and it's him and Mahomes. And no disrespect to Lamar Jackson, but if I was like drafting playground style, it would be Russ or Mahomes first. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, man, I'm terrified. It honestly, like anybody that follows me knows that like everybody gets on my case because like I have like an unhealthy obsession with Aaron Rodgers and what he can do and the way that he plays. And Rodgers is still better than I think a lot of people want to give him credit for. But Russell Wilson has kind of entered that space where how on earth could you feel good about a game where you have to play this guy? I don't know. And it seems like his line is doing a lot better than it has in the past. I mean, I know he got sacked 3 times by Atlanta, but just watching him from the outside, it seems like he's got more space. Obviously, DK is a monster. And then Tyler Lockett he's so underrated.
He's stupid underrated.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know it's simplistic, but I think this is probably going to be another game where the winner's going to. You're going to need 35 points to win this game. Like
shootout.
If it's me,
that's gonna be one of those.
I'm putting Cheeto or Diggs on DK because they're the biggest, most athletic guys. Figure it out from there. Try to not just obviously you want to sack Russ, but this is a classic case where you want to contain him and not let him break out of the pocket either. And then on the other side of the ball. But that's the fun thing is, like I said, I mean, the Seahawks defense is
not good.
Not that good.
It's rough, man.
Yeah.
Like
spotty defense.
Yes, that's a good point. Lost Spotty.
Who they lost?
They lost Diggs to getting thrown out the game, but then they lost their second safety, I believe, right?
Yeah, they lost. I can't think of the guy's name right now, but they lost.
Is it Madugu?
No, they traded him.
Traded.
He got traded.
Hell, they need Earl.
No, seriously, actually,
Marquise Blair.
There we go, Marquise Blair.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I did a podcast with a Seahawks reporter today, and he was like, "Yeah, like the Seahawks might need Earl, let alone the Cowboys." So, like I said, they've given up 47 plays of 10 or more yards. They don't have any pass rushers. Their best pass rusher is our old friend Benson Mayowa.
Exactly.
Which no disrespect to Benson Mayowa, he was decent for Dallas, but like he's not Jadeveon Clowney or Everson
Marinelli
Griffin.
Special is what Benson Mayowa was.
So
he's one of those orphans, right?
Absolutely, that's exactly what he is. So Dak should have time, and the receivers should have plenty of space against this secondary. I love Jamal Adams, and he is amazing, but he's not a coverage specialist. And I don't want to insult him by saying he's a box safety, but his value is closer to the line of scrimmage. His value is closer to the line of scrimmage, in my opinion, than like out, deep in the field making plays in coverage. So I think there are plays to be made in the Cowboys passing game. And
no
if
offense.
I had to guess, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I would say no offense to Bobby Wagner, because I think he's excellent. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But I think the person that scares me the most coming at the line of scrimmage is Jamal Adams, man. I've seen him blitz a ton this year. He screams off the edge. He's got
2 sacks in 2 games.
He screams off the edge. Yeah. And I'm just worried that I believe that Dak Prescott is going to have time most of the time. I believe Dak can have a solid statistical game. But I'm worried that there'll be that one time he doesn't see Jamal because he's so fast. And then that's boom. Quick. He'll get a fumble.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. You should absolutely be worried. Like he's gonna pressure Dak. He's if he doesn't get a sack, he'll get close. He's gonna scream in from some gap and cut Zeke's legs out from under him. He's gonna make life hell in the running game and as a blitzer. I'm just saying, like, if you think back to the last time the Cowboys went to Seattle, 2018, Earl Thomas picked off Dak twice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Jamal Adams doing that. Like, that's never been a staple of his game, is anticipating throws and making life hell for quarterbacks. But if you don't think he's going to make a big impact in this game, you're crazy. He absolutely will.
Yeah, I think he's going to be the centerpiece of their defense, especially with Bruce Irvin really isn't that guy anymore. But I mean, they're falling.
He's Blair, out too, like you said, yeah.
Now Diggs is physical. Maybe got to watch out for some big hits on Diggs, but I can see it being a battle of these 2 guys, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, and it's not like Dak hasn't beat him before, so you know what I mean? He got confidence.
Okay, but
no 12th man either.
Let's talk about this though, and I don't want to be a downer, but if you go back and watch that playoff game, all credit to the Cowboys, tons of credit to Dak, but the Seahawks played right into their hands because
ran the ball all the time.
They ran the ball all the damn time.
Yeah.
They didn't let Russ be Russ.
If you look at what
the last minute of it.
If you look at what they're doing right now, that somebody got in their ear because Russ is airing the ball out, man.
You're right.
And I don't think we win that playoff game without Tavon Austin too. You know, if we can get some of those actions on the punt return and kickoff return, that would be a plus for us.
There's a phrase they got going around right now about Russ. Is it let Russ cook?
Russ cook.
There it is. Let Russ cook. And I think somebody got to Brian. Is it Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator?
Yeah.
Who I would have never suspected as a guy to change up what he does. He's been him his entire career. But he's changed it up. And I think he's seeing that, we got DK, we got what's the cat's name? It's escaping my mind. Lockett. We got Tyler Lockett, likely our best duo wide receivers, I think, in the Russell Wilson era. And if their line isn't the Great Wall of Dallas, but I've watched it. It's not like their line was the 2017 bad. And I mean, they're not horrible. And our pass rush isn't getting home.
That's what scares me the most about this game is that I think if the Seahawks come out and try to bomb away, I don't feel great about that. I mean, I don't know how much of the Patriots game y'all saw on Sunday night, but
Hey, Gilmore, I was like, we don't have a corner like Gilmore right now.
Exactly.
Exactly. And people got mad at me when I posted him, DK Metcalf choking him on Twitter. They're like, oh, we'll be all right. I said, I know Diggs is going to be good, but that man is a big dude.
He is a big boy, man. That guy, he looks like a freight train.
And when he goes deep on that 9 route, oh my gosh, we got to be prepared for it. But you know what? This is a game, Dave and Law and Sky. This is a game where I know I feel like it's going to be high scoring. I said 31-28, but I think this is a game where Zeke has been looking good these first 2 weeks. Zeke really needs to cook in this game because we're talking about their defense, how it's in shambles, especially that front four. Zeke can really eat up in there if they really call some good draw plays, some play action, things like that. Get them out on the edge, those some dump screen passes, get Zeke involved like that quickly, and I think we can really attack that defense with him.
We're not good at screen passes, though.
No, we were good. We were good on Sunday.
In Atlanta. I said throw those screen passes. We was eating Atlanta.
It was good on Sunday, guys.
Well, some of them you kind of stumbled a little bit, but
I know. But hey, Zeke. I mean, think about it. Even when we went to Seattle, Zeke he had a fumble, but he still had a good screen pass play on that, and I think he scored on that too.
Time out. How ironic is it? You said we're not good on screen passes when Zeke's 2 longest plays of his career are screen passes.
I know,
80 yards.
I know, but I'm talking about
we don't run screen. We didn't run them enough. Yeah, that's all that was.
We can run them, but we don't run them. We don't execute them enough, I believe. Go ahead, Dave.
No, those. I mean, the 80-yarders are great. Zeke is a really good screen runner, but it's been a while since they've hit on one that way. I think he had a huge one against San Francisco in like 17.
He got one off the Saints. He got one off on the Lions.
He did.
Yeah, big one on the Lions.
You're right. And I think he did have one against the Saints in 18 too. You're right.
Yeah. But see, here's the thing. I struggle with this game. I think offensively, I think we'll be fine. However, I hear you, James, with, giving it to Zeke and everything. But just like I felt like in Atlanta, attack them through the air because they're terrible in the air. There was somebody put something up. That might have been you, Dave. And somebody had commented, whatever. It was you. You posted John Machota's stat. And you were talking about air it out early and often. And then Patrick Kahn, shout out to our guy Patrick, he was like, after we established the run. I'm like, no. No. That's the thing here. See, we try to establish the run against Atlanta, and we fumbled the ball 3-4 dang on times. And I'm not saying they were horrible against on the ground, but they weren't explosive on the ground. It was a tough go about it. Where we won that game out was in the air. And I don't know what Seattle was like. Maybe Dave, if you watch the defense, if you study the defense, I don't know if their defensive run defense is good. I don't know. You tell me. But I know their pass defense is not.
Unfortunately, it's only Tuesday. I don't know when y'all post this, but I haven't really had a chance to sit down and really study the Seahawks as of yet. I plan on doing that as we go in the week, but I will say, just as a general rule, sorry, my dog's butt is in my face.
Thank you, Steve.
He's so mad at me for not paying attention to him.
No, but that hype.
Yeah, just as a general rule, it just the numbers show how much more damage you can do in the passing game, and that's not a knock on Zeke.
No,
ideally, this is obviously this is so much easier said than done, but there's so much explosive talent on this offense. Use the passing game to get a lead, and then you lean on the running game to hold on to it. That is what I would prefer to see. Like I said, it's easier said than done.
That is.
But when you have this horsepower in the passing game, don't try to hide it.
Right.
You're right. I'm going to see put some questions down in our chats here, and make sure you hashtag it Late Night Hype or LNH. We'll fire off some quick questions for Dave before we get him out of here. But before we do let you go and read off these questions, you know what? Never mind. I'm gonna let you save this because I know on Friday y'all give y'all predictions, so I don't want to ruin it for you on your.
I was gonna say Derek Eagleton would probably yell at me if I was giving out my predictions.
I know.
3 days ahead of time.
Listen, Derek is one of the guys I look up to doing the hosting, moderating thing, and I know he don't play about that. If it's Tuesday. If it's Tuesday, wait a minute. Hold that off till Friday.
Derek is regimented, man. Yeah, absolutely.
I can tell, but man, he seems like a great guy to work with.
No, he's the best for sure.
All right, Terrius Moss says right tackle and left tackle back this week. Well, we know the right tackle won't, but he's asking, I guess, will Tyron Smith be back this week?
Stephen Jones was asked about that on Monday. He said he's got a great shot to play, but it's a game time decision.
Nope.
You tell me.
Nope.
You tell me what that means.
That means no.
Jerry Jones also said on Tuesday that they're trying to be smart with him so they can keep him intact for the long term. If they absolutely, if the division was on the line, he could probably play. But it's week 3 and the division's not on the line. So I don't know this for sure, but I lean toward thinking maybe he sits another week and they try to get him right before they put him out there. Especially, what I was going to say real quick is coaches would never admit this, but I bet the Cowboys coaching staff is probably shit, if we can survive the Falcons game, Seattle doesn't have better pass rushers than the Falcons.
So we're going to just let you say, I don't think he's playing, man. If you listen to Steven and you listen to Jerry, you could tell that dude ain't playing. I got one for you that talks about the fourth down stuff. He says, do you foresee us still being aggressive on fourth down even after last Sunday debacle? I don't think it's changing, but do you see us still being that aggressive?
Hard.
No way it's changing. That's here to stay, and I love it. Be aggressive. The offense.
Be smart though, but I love the aggressiveness.
I will. If you're gonna win, the offense is why. So give them as many chances as possible. Having said that, the one thing that I just really could not stand was the second fake punt.
Oh my.
4th and 5.
Oh my goodness.
4th and 5 with 12 minutes to play, and you're down. I think they were down by 12. Like, what NFL team in its right mind would not expect a fake?
And then to run it up the damn middle, just put your offense out there.
Put your offense on the field. That's the only thing I really have a problem with. Other than that, I'm here for it because as they go, they're going to start getting those, and everybody's going to love it. I love it. Be aggressive all the time.
Remember, 9 tries out of 10. How many times CJ would have caught that first one, though? Just in general.
Oh, it need to be a better throw.
I mean, the throw could have been better. But, yeah, actually, John Fossil, the special teams coordinator, was asked about that last night. I loved his answer so much because he goes, when we run it again, we'll get it. And I was like, I love your confidence. Let's go. We're going to –
Oh, I love John.
You know what they're going to do if they run it again? They'll have Diggs out there. Do Diggs run down there?
Actually, the funny thing is Cedric Wilson is the other gunner, so maybe they should throw it to the.
Oh, why did you tell me that? You shouldn't have told me that. Now, see,
right?
Maybe they should throw it to the receiver instead of the cornerback.
It got way too cute. They got way too cute.
CJ was a wide receiver in college. So
nah, Dave.
fine.
No.
All right.
If you got an actual NFL wide receiver,
all right.
I didn't know that.
I did not know. No, I didn't know Sad was on the other side. Now, John, come on, Bones. We got another hashtag late night hype. Why don't we have any 4 wide receiver, 1 running back sets? Zeke gets 5-man boxes, light boxes. He won't get 5, but he gets light boxes.
I've wondered that for a long time, honestly. Like going all the way back to when they drafted Ryan Switzer, I've been like, why doesn't this team want to run more 10 personnel, 4 receivers, 1 running back? You got a light box. You got great looks for Zeke to run against. But like, go look at the personnel groupings in the NFL. Like nobody runs 10 personnel. I think last year the Arizona Cardinals, which Cliff Kingsbury is a college guy, so that makes a lot of sense.
I think they ran it the most.
The Cardinals were the only team that ran 10 personnel more than like 10, 15% of the time. You just don't see it very often, which I think that's because coaches are obsessed with being able to block in the run game. They love having a tight end there to help do it. And I think they just get paranoid that they're going to get stuffed if they don't have the extra blocker. So I agree with the question. I would love to see it more, but NFL teams just don't really like it for whatever reason.
Hey, switching this up right quick. Let me ask you this. Who's a better fullback, Poe or Antoine Woods?
Man, my guy Antoine's he's been killing it. I love what he's been doing these
push Dak in there.
Yeah. and I know like he's a brawler. Like Antoine Woods loves the physicality of it all. So, they're only going to do it like once or twice a game, but I like having him in there. It's been fun.
We're going to lighten the mood up on this one. Terrius has a good one here. He said, Dave Helman's favorite brew. And we know you got some brews. So what's your favorite brew there, Dave?
Oh, damn. I'm done with it now, but I was drinking a little whiskey before.
See? That's so crazy because somebody said in the chat earlier, Dave is drinking.
I mean, come on, it's 9 o'clock Dallas time.
He ain't the only one.
Red cup specials, man. Look, you got a red cup. He got a red cup.
I got a gauntlet.
I've been drinking a lot of liquor during quarantine. Well, just if I drank beer every night, I'd be 400 pounds.
Exactly.
So
liquor does it better.
I've been drinking a lot of liquor. Favorite beers, if I'm just like drinking, if I'm like drinking casually, like I love a good PBR, just an easy to drink beer. But I'm a big fan of like dark beers too. Like anything that's like
do you like colored. IPAs?
No, I hate IPAs.
Thank you, bro. Round of applause. I hate IPAs.
I hate IPAs, but I love like a good porter or a stout. Anything that like looks like you have to chew it. That's my stuff.
Make the beard hair grow.
Got a football one for you. Mm-hmm. This is one I hope we do. But Wiggle Bell says, I like that name too. Wiggle Bell. Late night hype. Are we going to continue with the up-tempo offense?
Please. I mean, again, like I'd love to see it. It always works. But I wonder, I didn't come up with this idea, but I wonder if there's some thought process that's like, we have a $90 million running back who's pretty damn good, and we gotta adhere a little bit to that. And like, not so much Zeke's ego. Like, I don't think Zeke demands carries, but they're just saying we gotta justify having this tank of a running back that we're paying all this money to, and we're gonna dictate the pace through him. I wonder if there is some thought process to that, because it sure as hell looks good when they go up tempo. I wish they would do it more often. I can't think of very many good reasons why they don't, other than because they want to set the tempo through their run game. That's the only thing I can think of that makes sense.
Sometimes I wonder if there's too much on offense, and not in the sense of I'm upset at that. It's just that when you got CD, Cooper, Gallup, Dak, at one point Bell, or at one point Jarwin, Tony Pollard, Zeke, you have to establish something. That's something that I think James or Law kept saying during the stream. We have to establish something. And when you pay a running back $90 million and you got a quarterback that's about to get 40 he's about to get $40 million. It's gonna happen. How do you go about it, right? Like, do I go into this game running a lot? Do I go into this game passing a lot? I got two guys making a lot of money that are really good at what they do, some of the best at their position. What do we do? I'm hoping it's a week-to-week thing, Dave. I hope it's a game plan thing.
I do too. And that's why I would be really encouraged if they come out firing on the Seahawks, because that means that they're willing to adapt their game plan to what they're going against, rather than the old way of doing things, which is just like, this is what we do and we're gonna do it. I know, like, we don't need to revisit that, but, and that again, like, I love having Zeke on this team. I was gonna disagree with you. Zeke's great. It's great being able to lean on that, because when I started working here, everybody just used to complain like, oh my God, when are we ever going to have another 100-yard rusher? Like, when is it going to happen? Romo's got to do all this stuff on his own. That was the narrative when I started working here, was like, Romo and the receivers have to do all the heavy lifting. We don't have anything we can count on the run game. So I'm not about to sit here and act like it's bad to have a run game. It's definitely good. But you got to be able to adapt yourself to go against the weakness of your opponent.
Hey, I got a couple questions right here. One from my guy Vondell. This is a twofold. This is the second one's from me, Dave, and I really want you to answer this one. First, do you think Kellen Moore will be the play caller all year? And secondly, we need to talk about Sean Lee. Okay. What's going on? I mean, is this train going to go all year? He's already been out. He's not going to get back to week 6 or week 7. I mean, is this a situation where is this the end and they're going to finally find a linebacker? Because I just feel like the team keeps getting held hostage by these injuries, because you kept him on the roster all beginning of the season. He didn't practice. You didn't go out and get somebody else, and look where they're at right now, because we love Joe Thomas. But if Joe Thomas get hurt, buddy, we in trouble.
Okay, well, to be fair, I mean, you're right. Obviously, if Joe Thomas gets hurt, they are in trouble. But Joe Thomas is their 4th linebacker. So, I mean, it's just a testament to the breaks they've been dealt that they're in this position in the first place. Because obviously, Sean Lee's not even their first choice. It's Leighton. And Leighton, for all the concern about his neck, it's not his neck that got hurt. He popped his collarbone. I mean, that stuff happens in football. So some of that's just the breaks of the game. Like, I can't be mad at Sean Lee. He was supposed to be the 3rd guy. Like, ideally, he wasn't even supposed to be out there that much. So to answer your question, yeah, I mean, hopefully he's back in like mid-October. I can't imagine he has a super long-term future. I mean, he only signed a 1-year deal. He's obvious, he's 33, I think. I would be shocked that he has too many more seasons left in him. So, I mean, we'll see how he plays when he gets back before we try to figure out what that's all about. But yeah, I mean, linebacker's something they need to think about, and not like a 1st-round draft pick, but think about a few years ago they drafted Anthony Hitchens and Damian Wilson back to back in the 4th round. That's the type of stuff they needed. I mean, you need to consider spending a 3rd, 4th round pick on a linebacker who can be an insurance policy, a young, cheap, healthy linebacker who can be an insurance policy.
Well, we thought it could be the kid Francis Bernard coming out of camp, but I don't know what's going on with that.
It still could be. I don't want to say it annoys me, but people get so worked up about training camp sometimes. We saw it with Donovan Wilson last year too.
Yeah.
he makes some great plays in training camp and preseason, and everybody thinks that means he's ready to make the jump, and it's just not true. So, Francis Bernard might develop into a good player, but to think that he was ever going to get meaningful snaps coming out of camp just because he picked off Dak a couple times, I don't think that was ever realistic.
I got 3 questions for you over here.
Damn.
And I'm just gonna put it all into one. It's a combination. I'm trying to get in.
I know, my bad, yo.
But here it is right here. Is Donovan Wilson any good? And on top of that, when would you think Lyle Collins will be ready? And what are your thoughts on Randy Get Down Gregory?
Is Donovan Wilson any good? I don't.
How do we know?
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that question, to be honest with you. All I can do is defer to the coaches, because you say what you will, they know a hell of a lot more about football than I do, than any of us do. And maybe they're not even that great, but they definitely know more about what they're doing than I do, and they're not giving him a look. They like Darian Thompson. And obviously Xavier Woods is playing really well. So
and Brandon Carr, I saw him out there too.
Yeah,
well, they said they're going to rotate those, Dave, those safeties opposite of Xavier Woods now.
They did, but notice nobody said Donovan Wilson's name. They
said, see, but see, they get mad at us. Well, at least me, because somebody had said, well, what about Donovan Wilson starting? I said, but how can you say that though? We don't know how good this dude is, and apparently he's not good enough to beat out Brandon Carr. They went out and signed a 34-year-old guy who just moved to safety.
I don't blame fans for thinking that, but the snaps speak for themselves. I always tell people, if Donovan Wilson, if the coaches thought that he was this badass that was going to make their team better, would he be on the sideline as often as he is?
No.
Trevon Diggs is a perfect example. He was 3rd on the depth chart when camp started, and he's a starter by the end of it. If you can play, they'll put you on the field.
I got one for you. That's just like that. Xavier Woods.
I had 2 more I had to answer. Y'all throwing them at me from all sorts of angles.
A speed round.
Go ahead, Law. Or did you already ask all 3?
No, he didn't. He
got one.
Real. All right, so we gotta figure out the timeline for Lyle Collins, because you got to be on IR for 3 weeks, so he's eligible to come back after the Seahawks game, but does that mean he will? And I don't know the answer to that right now. So that's going to be one of my top priorities for this coming week, is figuring out, is Lyle coming back on Monday, or is he going to need more time? And as for Randy, I'm so happy for Randy that he's back. I'm not allowed in the building, but I've heard that he's super excited to be back. Super happy to just be back around the team. So, we'll see what he looks like as he gets his feet underneath him. He's not going to be able to play for another month, so he's got some time. But I'm just personally really happy for him that he's back.
That Browns front 4, we're going to have to be really ready, right?
You're not wrong.
Bro, so my buddy here mentioned somebody about Stingley. Who the hell is Stingley?
Oh, we want to talk about Derek Stingley? Is that what we want to talk about right now?
I think so. My boy said mention his name. He gonna know who I'm talking about. Who is that?
Derek Stingley is one of the 5 best college football players in America.
Oh,
is he a cornerback?
College.
Yes, he is a starting cornerback for LSU. Listen, he came in as a true freshman for LSU last year, started at the age of 18, locked down every damn person that he played, had 6 interceptions, and helped LSU win a national title. If he was eligible to go pro, he would be a top 5-10 pick tomorrow.
It'd be Jeff Okudah.
He's not even 19 years old. He's got 2 more college seasons left.
I've seen his story from high school. He's been the truth since middle school.
Yeah. He's that's Patrick Peterson behind me. He's gonna be the next Patrick Peterson.
Ooh.
He is pretty, and he's got good.
So
he's got good
no
size
Mo Claiborne height. It's no Mo Claiborne height, right? Because everybody said
Claiborne was. Oh my gosh!
People had his.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe they was even hyping him when he came out hurt. Ooh,
this is real. This is real deal. Derek Stingley is gonna be a monster.
Okay, I'm gonna look up his film tonight.
Yeah, when he said that, I'm like, is this a typo, fam? We don't got no Stingley on this team. I didn't know
he just knows who's on the show. That's all.
That's what. But basically, he said, "Yo, just ask him, bro. He know who he is. Just ask him." Hey, but before we go though, I gotta make sure I shout out my guy, man. Our guy Sosa, man. Shout out to the Cowboys Network. Make sure everybody that's up in this chat here. We're 1,300 deep up in this thing live, and make sure you guys go follow the Cowboys Network on all the platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. He's not on YouTube though, and you'll get some quality information as well as great visuals to go with it, man. It keeps you up to date. I always say it. Anytime there's something that breaks, I actually go to his page to see first because I know he's going to have the real deal details. Make sure you guys follow. Sosa is what we call him, Dave Helman. We call him Sosa. He's the one that helped us get Darren Woodson on the show, Daryl Worley, who else? Cedric Wilson. So, yeah, he's a big part of Late Night Hype, man. So, if you're not following him, Dave, go follow him, man. Good follow.
I can do that.
Yep, good follow. All right, man. Any parting shots, Dave, to the fans out there or no predictions? We don't want to get you in trouble. How about this? How about a bold prediction? Not a game prediction. Just a bold prediction. Something that, nobody's thinking about that may happen. Putting you on the spot.
People are probably thinking about it because of who he is. But, I mean, CD is going to find the end zone one of these days, right? How about against this Seahawks secondary, he gets 2? That's my bold prediction. Ooh. He's going to get 2 on Sunday.
I like it.
I don't know if that's going to be enough to get a win, but CD's going to have a nice day. I love coming on with y'all, man. This is a lot of fun. Just anything where I can engage with, this is a dope show. I love, y'all said y'all got 1,300 people in here. That's badass.
Yeah.
So if anybody listening live or if you watch or listen later, I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting me in my career. Thank you for supporting these guys. This was fun. I was happy to be on.
I love it, man, because when you come on, man, we could just talk ball.
Yeah, we be talking.
You know what I mean? I love it,
dog. I love it. You feel me? We have good times.
No, David, this is good. Yeah, what's up?
Just imagine if CD get in that end zone and he hold up the X or he throw the X. What will happen? What would happen to the universe? What would happen?
I threw it up when he on his first catch. I said, I just gotta do it. I see the 88. I just gotta do it.
That's an interesting, think about, obviously CD's a first round pick. He's this badass receiver. He's been thinking about it.
Hell yeah. You see his cockiness. You see his cockiness.
Dude, I was talking about that the other day. Every
time he got up, he was like, you doing sweet. You're doing this.
Every time he gets up, I say this.
On that last one, he said.
I say this with love in my heart. He's got this arrogance about him that I'm like, yes.
Yes, I'm sweet. He was getting up I'm sweed.
It's so smooth, man.
Think about it though, all right, so we know that he's been thinking about what he's gonna do when he scores, and he's had 2 weeks where he didn't. So now it's in his head even more. So I bet he will do something cool when he finally scores.
You throw the X, man. I'm gonna go crazy.
If he throws up the X, I think Twitter would break. But he probably wants to do his own thing. If I had to guess,
he's throwing up that
X.
will
break.
He throwing up that X.
Even if he do it for Wakanda, I don't care.
That's a great point.
Just throw it up one time.
Throw it up.
That would be so fun.
Oh man, hey Dave, man, this was freaking awesome, guys. Hey, listen, make sure you guys subscribe to all of our channels here. Continue to support us, and we appreciate the support. This kind of support is actually, I think, is what allows us to get guys like Dave Helman from DallasCowboys.com onto the dang on show, man. So continue to rock out. And if you aren't following Dave on Twitter, what are you waiting for? When it comes to Cowboys community, dude is what is it? If there's a top 10, you got to put Dave Helman in there. I just thought of a segment. Maybe a Twitter segment.
That just warmed my heart because I spend way too much time on Twitter to not be in the top
10. So basically you're like the Brett Favre of Twitter. You're going to be in all the statistical categories because you played 20 years. So
I damn well better be.
Okay.
I tweet 80 times a day, for God's sake.
Hey, do me a favor, chat. Drop the fire emojis on the way out of this thing. I got a saying on this show, or we will just be on here forever. If I don't press this button, Dave, we will talk to you till 1 o'clock in the damn morning. So I'm gonna press this button. So when you hear this music, that means we on our way out. And just stick around for a few seconds after the show's over, behind the scenes. All right. Hey, appreciate you guys rocking with us. Drop those fire emojis. Dave Helman of DallasCowboys.com. Give him a round of applause, y'all. He was awesome as always. Hopefully we can get you again sometime later in the season, brother.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, y'all holler at me.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Salute.